Good afternoon, Year 5, and welcome to your PHSE lesson. Today is not the 4th, it is the 5th. I'm getting ahead of myself. So we are looking at reflecting how we're feeling about returning to school. I know many of you are feeling a mixture of feelings at the moment, and you are getting maybe a little bit anxious about it, or maybe you're really excited about it. And we're just going to put your mind at ease today about coming back on Monday. So I know it is Friday. I know this is probably your last lesson for today. So this is just to make sure that you're at ease for Monday, that you're ready to come back, that you're ready to return, and that you know what to expect for Monday and the rest of the week. And so that you can feel really relaxed and that you're not going to feel overwhelmed or stressed about it, because that's the last thing any of us Year 5 teachers want for you. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the answers from last week very quickly. I said I would go over them with you before we start. And obviously we're looking at our Healthy Me unit in our PHSE lessons, and we're going to continue that when you come back to school. But I did say that I would show you these answers, and there was no right or wrong answer when you did them, but if you did get the right answer, these are them here. So when we were looking at smoking last week, and we were looking at how it affects our health. And these were some of the questions that you had to then think about which one you would have chosen. So the answer for number 1, how many people die each year in the UK from a smoking related illness, is A, 120,000 people, so quite a significant amount. How many children take up smoking every day? Can you believe it? It is B, 450 children, okay? Roughly 450 children every day take up smoking. So true or false, low tar cigarettes don't cause that much health damage. So it's false, they have less tar, but they can still cause health damage, okay? Right, just because it has less of something, it's still the tar itself that's in your body is still going to be very damaging for you if you're using it over a long period of time. What makes smoking addictive? There is something called nicotine, and this is a powerful stimulant, addictive drug, and that's why people struggle to actually give up smoking, because it's an addiction that they have because of this nicotine. That is a type of drug that they crave, okay, they want it. It's kind of like having chocolate, but chocolate's not as bad for you unless you're eating a load of it, all right? So smoking immediately affects the heart by speeding up the heart rate and increasing blood pressure, which we spoke about that in our previous lesson, okay? So nicotine is a type of drug that obviously makes you crave that, in this case, your cigarettes, and it obviously then can have very harmful effects on your body. The chemicals that an average ashtray contain are all of these, okay? Arsenic, nicotine, and ammonia. And tobacco contains over 4,000 chemicals, many of which are harmful. And we've said that before when we looked at our previous lesson, we said that they had lots of chemicals in cigarettes. Which group smokes more? It is girls, okay? It used to be boys at one point, but now it has changed to girls. Can you think of any reasons why you think that could be? And we'll have a discussion in our next lesson of PHSE as to why you think it could be more girls than boys now and why it has changed. Question number 7 was, how much will smoking 20 cigarettes per day for a year cost you? And you can see there it's going to cost you a lot of money, okay? You can go on a very lovely holiday for that amount of money, £2,700 that you could be saving. And that's on average. So some people would spend less, some people would even spend more. True or false, smoking only damages your health if you have been smoking for years, and it is true. Shortness of breath, more coughs and colds occurs in young smokers who have not been smoking for very long. What percentage of adult population smokes? It is 25%, okay? And it says emphasis that it seems that many people smoke, but actually only a quarter of the adult population are now smokers. Discuss this, and we can discuss that further in our next lesson as well. If we all know the dangers of cigarette smoking, why do young people start? Okay, and there's obviously no correct answer for this. There's no wrong or right answer in terms of the fact that you would have different ways of what you think, okay? And you could even have other answers that are not in here. So that was a quick recap from last week's lesson. But now what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call a 10-minute journal. So I'd like you to get out a piece of paper and a pen, And you're going to pause the video for me in a moment, and you're going to then just jot down some of your ideas. And these are the questions that I would like you to answer on your piece of paper for me, okay? And really think about this. What are you looking forward to today, or maybe over the weekend? You can say over the weekend as well. Something that you're very grateful for, okay? So what could you be very grateful about? Is it that you have a loving family? Is it that you have a roof over your head? Is it that you're able to go outside and play? All right. I can tell you that when I was younger, I couldn't go outside without my parents having to be with me, because living in South Africa can be dangerous, and I'd have to have parental supervision at all times to make sure that I was safe. So some of the neighborhoods that I was near when I was growing up wasn't very safe. And if you took your bike out, sometimes it would get stolen. And so my parents would always have to come and supervise me. So sometimes you might feel like you can just go out and you have the freedom to be able to go and ride your bikes. And that's very nice. That's something to be grateful about. What emotions am I feeling that are helping me today? Okay, maybe you're feeling very calm. Maybe you're feeling quite relaxed. Maybe you're feeling at ease. Okay, what are the things that are making you feel that are going to help you? All right, so have a little think about that. You can do a mind map even of these 3 questions. I don't mind. You can draw pictures if you'd like. All right, it's just to really think about these things. And as I said, it doesn't have to necessarily be today. It could be for the weekend. It could be over the past couple of weeks. It could be something that you're even looking forward to in a couple of weeks' time. It doesn't even have to be now. So pause the video now and have a go at doing that. Okay, so just so that you are feeling really at ease and relaxed about returning to school, I thought I would go over some questions that I think some of you might be thinking or worrying about. And I just want to put your mind at ease and some of the things that we're going to look forward to for next week, and that you are then feeling really relaxed and you're feeling really comfortable to return back to school. So obviously, when will I go back to school? It will be on Monday. Okay, we do expect everybody to be coming back on Monday. And if for whatever reason you aren't able to return to school on Monday, you need to let us know. Okay, so we will be expecting you all back on Monday. It is going to be the normal time. So you need to arrive at 8:45 until about 5 to 9. All right, so you have about 10 minutes to arrive, and you will then meet Miss Malvina and myself at the clock tower like we used to, and you will then come straight up into class. Miss James and Miss Bretta will be here in that week, and they will then take register. So it'll be very much the normal routine that you've been used to over the past terms, okay, that when you were in school. So exactly the same routine in the morning. You're not going to start anywhere different. You're going to come in by the clock tower there, where the year 2 and 3 classrooms are. You'll come straight up into class. You'll get yourself ready, put your coats and your lunches on the lunch trolley and on the pegs. And then you come into class, and then there'll be some activities for you to complete in the morning. Right, so will I be in the same classroom? Yes, you will be. You'll be in your same class that you were, so there's no difference there. You'll have the same teacher as well. I will be your teacher if you are my class. And if you are in Miss Malvina's class, you'll be in her classroom. So we are not going to be changing classrooms. You'll be based in the same classroom with the same teacher that you had. You are obviously welcome to come and talk to us throughout the day or the week. If there's something that's worrying you or that you're stressed about or you're anxious about, we would love to hear how you're doing. So please come and have a chat with us and make it, you can just say, Miss Fink or Miss Malvina, can I meet with you at lunch or break time? And we can then have that time to meet, okay? We're here for you. We want you to feel relaxed. We want you to feel at ease. And if there's anything that's worrying you or making you feel anxious, then do come and tell us, okay? Right, will you see your friends? Of course you'll see your friends. We will still be in rows in our desks, okay? And you will have your own pencil pots. So we're going to be encouraging you not to share. So it's making sure that you're taking responsibility of your stationery that we provided for you. And then making sure that your areas are clean at all times, washing your hands in the morning, and then you will sit down, okay? We will allocate you your spot, so you will know where so that you can find your name on your pot, and then you can be seated and get out an activity that we will provide for you in the morning. Okay, at breaks and lunches, we will also create a time for you to obviously be with your friends in a bubble. So you won't be mixing with other year groups. You'll be in your bubble like we did in autumn 1 and 2. So no difference there. Will it be different in my classroom? How might it be different? So it's not necessarily different because I think you guys are quite used to the structure of how we've been doing things. So in the morning, you need to make sure that you wash your hands first thing, okay? And that you sit down in your seat, that you're not walking around, that you're not touching other people's belongings, that you're making sure that you're keeping your stationery in your pot, and your pot will be labeled with your name so that you know that that belongs to you, okay? So it's very important that you're not touching other people's items, as well as when we go out to break and lunchtime to wash your hands, and when you return to school. And at the end of the day, we will then make sure that our hands have been cleaned. And then when you go home, the cleaners will come in and wipe down your desks so that we can make sure that the classroom is as safe as possible, okay? So there's no difference in terms of how we've been. It's quite actually the routine now. It's actually good practice to be making sure we're washing our hands regularly, and that we're just being mindful of each other's space as well. So within the classroom, obviously, we're not going to be getting up and moving too much. And that when we go outside, we're making sure we're in our bubbles as well, and we're not mixing with other year groups either. Okay. I've got a very itchy nose right now. What will happen at dinner time? So at lunchtime, exactly the same as well. The routine that you've been used to is Mrs. James or Miss Brettel will be taking you down to the hall. Those children who have packed lunches will have their lunch with the classroom teacher, so Miss Mulvena or myself. You will have your lunch, whereas school dinners, if you've got a school dinner, you will go with Miss Brettel or Miss James down to the hall, eat your lunch there, and then we will all join outside for lunchtime play. You will be able to do PE, okay? Just a reminder that PE is on a Wednesday and a Thursday, and you come to school in your PE clothes, all right? So you arrive to school in your PE uniform, and then you will have PE on those days, okay? So there's no difference there. So yes, normal timetable, okay? And that includes also your subjects. So in the morning, you'll have reading, generally, maths. Then after break, you will have your SPAG lessons, so your grammar, punctuation, vocabulary. You will have your English lesson, and at the end of the day, you will have your times tables and your topic lessons, okay? So that is what you're going to be doing, normal routine with your subjects as well, so no change there. So just some general reminders when you do return to school. So these are things that I think you're quite well aware of, and you're quite, you'll get back into that routine really, really quickly, okay? So washing our hands regularly, making sure that if we cough or we sneeze as well, that we go and wash our hands immediately afterwards. Have your own equipment, okay, which we will have. You'll have your own pencil pot with your name on it, with your stationery, and that's why it's very important that you're not leaving your stationery on the floor. We're not going to be labeling up every single pencil and pen for you this term. All right, it is your responsibility now. You're old enough to make sure that you put all your stationery back into your pot and that you're not sharing those items with other people, okay? Take responsibility for your goods. Are in smaller groups. So sometimes we will be in smaller groups in terms of our bubbles, okay? So we are obviously in one year 5 bubble. So when we are outside, we will be in a year 5 bubble, so we won't be mixing with other people. And then in the classroom, it's important that you're just mindful of the people around you, okay? So try your best to keep your distance with the people. So your play times and lunch times are at different times, like we had in previous terms in our autumn 1 and 2 term. It was, you were in a bubble, you played with your year 5 group, okay, you weren't mixing with other people. So it's kind of the norm for you, but that isn't different to how we are normally. Right, as I said, you will arrive between 8:45 and about 5 to 9. That's sort of your time slot to arrive at school. And then we will leave at 3:15, and I will meet your parents by the clock tower there again, by the year 2 and 3 classrooms as normal, and we will dismiss you as normal. If you are allowed to walk home, then you can obviously walk home. And those of you whose parents are fetching you, we will then wait with you until your parent collects you. So you don't have a different teacher to normal, okay? You will have the same teachers. You will have Mrs. James, you will have Miss Brettel, Miss Mulvena, and myself. Miss Pitt is still going to be shielding for some time, so she will only be returning it to us a little bit later, but she misses you all, and I know she's looking forward to coming back as well. And we obviously will have no assembly still, okay? We might have an assembly on our smart board where they will video it. You have been watching assemblies, hopefully, in your home learning at home. So we might have something very similar to that, where we will be able to watch a little video of somebody who's pre-recorded themselves, and we can then do our assemblies in class. And obviously at no one time we'll have a whole school dinner. So obviously your year group will go at your time slot down to the hall. All right. So those are just some general reminders of how we do things here. And so it shouldn't be, there's not going to be any change. So I don't want you to stress about anything that's going to be happening that's going to be different. It's going to be exactly the same routine that you were used to in our previous terms when you were at school. Okay. So some things just to remind us to remember for next week as well. We're obviously doing World Book Week, and that's we've been looking at fables this week in our reading. And there is a challenge for you to have created your a book cover, so of the wind and the sun, the north wind and the sun. So if you have created your book cover and designed it beautifully, I know that I've got many talented artists in this year group. Please bring it in the beginning of the early next week, and then we will be looking at the best one and deciding the best one. The best one will choose a prize. So if you are finishing your work early this week and you have nothing to do, don't forget there is that competition going on, that you need to design a front cover for that fable. Think about how we design those things. Think about those nice bold headings. Think about what information do we have to have on a picture. Okay, and really give it some effort and some thought as to how you can design it. You can Google some pictures as well, so that you don't have to try and draw it out of your head. You can copy them, you can print them and trace them. Okay, you can't just print them and then cut them out and stick them on. We will probably, if somebody has done a lot more effort where they've traced them or tried to copy them, then we would be a bit more impressed by those. So really do have a think about how you could design that cover. We would love to see loads next week. And then hopefully we'll have a nice, just easy transition week. Next week, we're going to be looking at some work that we have been doing over the homeschooling period, but there's no new work that we're going to be necessarily starting yet, except that we're not going to be able to have as much time to really explore those concepts that we've already taught in lockdown. Okay, so obviously with your home learning, if you've been following it, if you've been doing those assignments and quizzes, if you've been watching the videos carefully, if you've been following the steps to success, you are going to feel really, really comfortable and at ease next week. And those children who haven't been doing their home learning, you might find that this is going to be a lot of information for you to try and understand in your first week back. So you're just going to have to try your best. If you have any reading books from the school library that you took home, and you've obviously hopefully read them by now, will you please make sure that they come back to school so that we can take out new library books, and that you can then change your books. And we're going to start with our AR readers again. We're going to start from fresh this term. So we're going to see who is reading the most and how many words they are reading every week. So those children who have got reading books at home that belong to the school and you finish them, please bring them back next week so that the library is not going to be empty. Okay, because if you keep all your books, then we're not going to have any books in the library and we can't buy new ones. It's going to be very expensive. So please bring those books back to school. And then if there's anything that you are worried about or nervous about, please pop us an email at the year 5 at the palmeracademy.com email address, and we can get back to you. But I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Relax, enjoy, and I will see you on Monday morning. Have a lovely time. Bye, guys.